A funeral home fumble.
And this is up there with one of the most horrific cases.
This 56-year-old man died suddenly in Atlanta. His parents asked the funeral home to send his belongings.
Their son's brain was in the backseat of their car.
They had no idea that one of the boxes they took home had their son's brain inside, fluid leaking all over their hands.
I got in my car and I smelled death.
Now, two funeral homes, one in Philly, one in Atlanta, under fire. And the Shade Room is digging what we found when we started looking up their past violations.
There has to be accountability.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
It was, and it is still in my heart that I got in my car and I smelled death.
It's been almost 2 years since Lawrence and Abby Butler lost their son, Timothy Garlington. But instead of fond memories, they're often met with memories of his smell. They picked up some of his belongings sent from a funeral home in Georgia. They went home and left a few items in their back seat, not knowing that one of those items was a box that contained their son's decaying brain inside. But before we get to that story, we do want you to head over to our YouTube channel. There you can subscribe and watch full and exclusive episodes of TSR Investigates wherever you are and whenever you want.
Turned into something from a movie script, from a horror movie.
Elcris Stewart, he's one of the attorneys representing the Butler family and behind this 10-page lawsuit filed last week against Nix and Nix Funeral Home in Philadelphia and Southern Cremations and Funerals in Marietta, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta.
Southern Cremation and Funeral Home got his body, prepared it, and shipped it to Nix and Nix in late November.
This was back in 2023.
Along with his personal items, they also included this, a small white box, which had a red box inside of it. In the casket, it's with personal items. So Nix and Nix takes that box out of the casket and puts it with his personal items. They contact the family comes in, they get his personal items, and then they see that white box and they're like, okay, well, what is this?
They try opening the box, but they couldn't. It was sealed too tight.
They leave the personal items in their family car in the back seat. Maybe 4 or 5 days pass. When they get in the vehicle again, they said that it smelled like death. They don't know where it's coming from. They look in the back seat and they see that box and they pick the box up and it's covered in a fluid.
The smell was unconscionable. They put the box on the back porch.
So they call Southern Cremation in Georgia, and they're told it's your son's brain. They don't know how they got it or why they were given that box, but no explanation, no apology, no shock, just that it was their son's brain.
I had to get rid of that car. I just couldn't stand the idea that the remains are so not quiet. To find out that it was his remains was just overwhelming. And even to this day.
The alleged negligence spelled out in this lawsuit, claiming, quote, the subject box did not contain any marking to indicate it contained biohazardous material. Therefore, the subject box began to smell and leak fluids in Mr. Butler's vehicle and then spilled onto the plaintiffs, end quote.
You rely on their professionalism to avoid this kind of situation. We just trusted them to do what we thought should be done correctly, and this was not done correctly at all.
They gave the brain to Nix and Nix Funeral Home in Philadelphia and buried their son days later, still having no clue where Timothy's brain really was.
Has this happened before? Is this happening often? And why was it allowed to happen?
So why now? Why, a year and 8 months later, did they file a lawsuit?
We immediately began our investigation. We wanted to go through all the proper steps other than just immediately filing a lawsuit. We put on the boards in Georgia and Pennsylvania, put them on notice about this incident that an investigation needed to be opened.
And that's what prompted us to do some digging ourselves. We first checked the Georgia State Board of Licensing and learned that in 2020, Southern Cremations and Funerals, they were sanctioned for failing to submit an application to change their funeral director who was in charge. They were slapped with a $500 fine because of it. We also looked through licensing records in Pennsylvania for Nix and Nix Funeral Home. They too have been hit with citations in the past. This one dating back to 2013, an employee apparently lying about their criminal history on their funeral director renewal application. The worker was a convicted felon.
There has to be accountability.
Now, we did reach out to Julian Nix. He's the CEO and founder of Nix and Nix Funeral Home. He did put blame on the funeral home in Georgia about this. He told me over the phone, quote, that they sent his brain in a regular box separate from the body. No notation, no label, nothing. We got investigated. The State Board of Pennsylvania cleared us from everything, end quote. Now, the state of Pennsylvania, they have said publicly that they cannot confirm or deny any outcome of an investigation until it is complete and it is released on their website. It has not been released yet, so we will be following up to see if any investigation has been conducted on Nix and Nix. Meanwhile, the Southern Cremations and Funeral Home, they have declined to comment. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter. Hello, roommates, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Do you want more TSR Investigates? Be sure to subscribe and check us out at theshaderoom.com.